Good morning, everyone. A new learning awaits the senior high school students, grade 12, STEM, Cookery, and ICT. I am Mrs. Angeline O. Pagirigan, UMS teacher, Master Teacher 2. I will be your teacher in the subject 21st Century Literature from the Philippines and the World. The core subject for the grade 12 students, we are in quarter 1, week 3, module 2. Module 2 is about the Philippine literary history. According to DepEd Secretary Briones, education cannot wait. So because of this advocacy of the department launches the Learning Continuity Plan, focusing on the new curriculum with the most essential learning competency, which is MELCs. The MELC for the 21st century literature from the Philippines and the region is to identify and appreciate representative texts from each region through a change analysis. After the lesson, the students should identify the 21st century Filipino authors from different regions. Objective number 2. Write a close analysis and critical interpretation of a chosen literary text. Last week, in our synchronous meeting, I instructed you to create a poem about your province, the landmark, and the famous food in your hometown. Your other classmates don't have a province, so I told them to write a poem about Tondo or Manila instead. While doing the activity, some of your classmates asked, "Ma'am, is it okay if there's no rhyme? Ma'am, how many lines? How many stanzas?" From there, I know that you are all familiar with what a poem is. To elaborate further, what is a poem and what is poetry? A poem uses a figurative language, it uses separate lines, it uses repeated rhythm, and usually has a rhyme. Figurative language is an effective way of communicating an idea that is not easily understood because of its abstract nature or complexity. Poetry is as old as human language itself. It is evident during the pre-colonial period wherein our ancestors used song to express the poems which are transferred through the word of mouth. One of the most notable poets of Spanish era is Francisco Baltasar, who wrote Florante at Laura. Another notable writer during the Spanish period is our hero Andres Bonifacio, who wrote the poem Pag-ibig sa Tinubuang Lupa as a sign of love for his country. We all know that Philippines has a unique cultural landscape shaped by different languages determined by regions. The Philippines has 7,107 islands, divided by the three big islands, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, with regions 1, 2, 3, 4A, 4B, Region 5, CAR, and NCR. We have Region 6, 7, and 8, Region 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and the Bangsamoro Administrative Region and the Negros Island Region. Due to the big numbers of regions in the Philippines, we have 175 languages. We can see in the PowerPoint the most common languages spoken in the Philippines. These are Tagalog, Cebuano, Ilocano, Hiligaynon or Ilonggo, Bicolano, Waray, Pampango, and Pangasinense. We can see in the slide some example of the words like tadhana, nahigugma konimo, inaro taka, idutaka, kalugurandaka, palangga tagid ka. The different languages spoken in the Philippines. Now we will be reading a Filipino regional poetry from BIKOL. Mayon by Christian Sendon Cordero from Camarines Sur. Ayon sa alamat, lason ng pana ni Pagtuga ang lumikha sa bulkan. Libingan ito ng dalagang namatay sa isang digmaan. Ngayon, ano ang tutubo sa paanan ng mayon? Tinitigan ko ang nakangangang bulkan, binalot ng ulap at ng sariling usok ang tuktok. Gatas sa labi, baka sakali magpakita ng may silbi ang kamera. Sa ilang retrato na ibinebenta ng mga bata sa Kagsawa, lusaw na tae ang nagliliyab na lava. Dumadaloy pababa, matandang nagnganganga, ayon naman sa isang makata. Sa isang lumang postcard na nakita ko sa Antigo Merkado, kapag sa malayo, isa kang magandang sikyong nakatanod, handa sa pagkapkap, naghihintay sa iyong pagpasok. The poem was an example of a Bicol literature. It is interesting to know that the Bicolanos cannot speak only Bicol, but they are multilingual, which means they can also speak in English and Tagalog. One of the famous Bicol literary writer is Ricky Lee. As seen in the PowerPoint, he is an award-winning script writer for the films like Gumapang sa Lusak and Nasaan Ka Man. Another traditional example of Bicol literature is Tigsikan. It consists of 2 or 4 lines or more, 8 or more syllables in each line, ending in a monorhythmic pattern. Tigsik is a toast similar to the tagay of the Tagalog. An example is shown in the PowerPoint. I will read some. Tigsik ko an mga estudyante na matang amay asin minabiyahe, pirming gamit ang sandang kakote, dila asin isip garo diamante. Tigsik ko an samong barkada na mga adik sa dota, padago sindang natira, dawa mayo na ning kwarta. Tigsik ko si Padi na para ikit lubi-lubi, nadakop siya ni Gabi, nahulog siya sa kali. Tigsik ko si ama mo, sa iyang buto, paano nin kalugo, pinagligid-ligid sa abo, asin nagsisining maayong pundo. What to do? Now we will do a critical analysis about the Bicol literature Mayon. This is to broaden and deepen your understanding upon the literary work. To explain by means of interpretation. When we say interpretation, it is about the individual response that addresses a meaning. It means that it is different from one another because it is your opinion. Interpretation is your opinion about a certain situation in the text. To do critical analysis, you should focus on specific details of text in order to get deeper meaning. In your interpretation, I am discouraging using "in my opinion" or "I think" in your first line of sentences, because this invokes subjectivity, which is not good in critical analysis. Remember, always introduce the work, the writer, the autobiography, etc. Support with evidence by attaching the part of the text. Reminder number 2, be open-minded, informed, and fair. All your opinions should be supported with the proper facts. Reminder number 4, remember, the purpose of analysis is not only to inform, but evaluate the worth of a text. What are the content of a critical analysis? These are information, interpretation, and evaluation. In information, these are the facts. Interpretation, that's your opinion and may vary from each other. And evaluation is your observation about the text. I have here some guide questions that you can use in your critical analysis. Number 1, what is the importance of the poem? I have here some guide questions. Question number 2, as your guide, what are the strengths and weaknesses of the text? Thank you very much, and God bless.